Greetings, good morning, and welcome to Mind the Moment, brought to you by Harvard Pilgrim Health Care. This, my friends, is our coffee house in the cloud, a place where we invite amazing mindfulness instructors to talk with us about what mindfulness means to them and what it can mean for you. We'll be practicing together and giving you a chance to let us know what's on your mind. It is Thursday, November 26th, which in these United States is Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Oscar Wilde wrote in his play, A Woman of No Importance, after a good dinner, one can forgive anybody, even one's own relations. And indeed, for many of us, Thanksgiving has always represented a complicated dance between hardship and healing, celebration, trepidation, between the desire to come together and apprehension about what might happen when we do come together, between joy and loss. In that sense, this year is no different, even if the sense of separateness, as well as the knowledge of what can be accomplished when an effort to bridge that separateness is made, are each, in turn, being experienced more acutely. Today, that we're going to choose to acknowledge the sense of separateness which so many of us are feeling, while at the same time training a measure of our attention on how that sense of separateness might be bridged or mitigated, especially through the cultivations of qualities such as gratitude. With me is someone that I'm very grateful to be having that conversation with, the founder and director of Harvard Pilgrim's Mindfulness Program, Tara Healey. Good morning, Tara.
Good morning, John. Good morning, everyone. Happy to be with you this Thanksgiving morning.
And it's great to see so many people have chosen to take the time. It's really, it's touching. It's touching to me. Tara, I'm just going to have us leap right in because we really wanted to make sure we engaged people today. So you had one or two questions that you wanted to throw out at people to sort of see how folks are doing.
Yeah. And so I have a couple questions, as John said, and you can respond to both or one. And the first is to list maybe one or two things that went well this morning that made you happy, that you're grateful for, something small perhaps, but just something that maybe made you smile. And the second, so this is an either or, who is the person or the people in your life who helped you arrive to where you are?
Well, Tara, if you like what people are typing, I actually have some thoughts on that. So I wanted to sort of talk about my sister and her family, because I've never actually had Thanksgiving with them. They live in Iowa, and yet the fact that I couldn't spend Thanksgiving with them, even if I had wanted to, has brought up some challenging emotions for me. Paradoxically, it's knowing that I can't be in contact with them in person has caused me to want to be more in contact with them in other ways, which I think has resulted in me making more of an effort than I would have in a normal year.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've experienced this, Tara, but this to me is this is what the pandemic has been for me, is I'm confronting the loss of all these day-to-day experiences, of course. I'm also contemplating the loss of relationships I may not have been putting enough effort into. It's like that. So it's like that foreshadowing of the loss of those relationships, which has caused me to take them more seriously and to value them more.
Yes.
So that's just a little bit of context, but can I tell you what the text conversation I was having with my sister last night?
Yes, please.
So apparently my sister's 7-year-old daughter, Esme, has discovered an online name generator that will take your birth date and it will tell you what your name would be if you were one of Santa's elves. So would you like to know what my son Jack's secret elf name would be?
Yes.
According to his cousin?
Yes.
It's Chestnut Cookie Pie. Do you want to know what my elf name would be?
Yes, John, that was my next question.
It's Jolly Cuddle Cloud.
How fitting.
Do you want to know what my wife's elf name is?
How perfectly fitting.
My wife is Sunshine Tinsel Fluff. So nice. If folks would like to share what they think their elf names would be, that'd be awesome as well.
Nice.
Okay. So there's some folks who are saying what the things that they are Well, Tara, could you, I'm sorry, I sort of stole,
Repeat the
but,
question. Yeah, so it's like just what went well this morning, made you happy, made you smile, you're grateful for. It could be something really small, and or who is the person or people in your lives that have helped you arrive to where you are.
perfect. Okay, so someone says they got to sit outside on their back porch before the rain started. It's a rainy Thanksgiving here in New England. Someone says they're grateful for their husband Davide and their dog Otto. The smell of coffee brewing and pumpkin pie cooking. Yes, what my house smells like as well. My mom, my family, and my A-team, those that love me unconditionally in all conditions.
Nice.
Alive, breathing, thankful. Someone says they had a good workout. Someone says they're doing some actual tidying, not over the top, but in order to welcome, better welcome that part of the family who will be joining them for Thanksgiving today. Someone says that their parents have been the biggest influence on who they are. Let's see. Someone says that they are both missing their parents, but also grateful for the time they were able to spend with them. Someone says they're thinking about their sisters and nieces and daughter who have influenced them. Grateful that the pandemic has resulted in more connection through the WhatsApp chat. That's nice.
I just downloaded that last night.
Yeah, really? Couple shout outs for coffee.
Love it.
Oh, Tara, I'm going to share this for you. The person who has helped me arrive is you, T. My life is enriched by you every day. It's your sister, by the way. Someone says, I went for a great walk, had delicious toast this morning. Sometimes toast is the most delicious. Someone says their mom is the person they're grateful for. We should all be grateful for our mothers. Okay, well, that's great. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Well, Tara, I think I want to turn back to you because I know that you have some thoughts on gratitude put together, both how it flows from mindfulness practice, how it supports mindfulness practice. Love to hear about what you have.
No, thanks, John. So just a couple of things. I was on the UC Berkeley Center for Greater Good site recently, and there were some really interesting data points there that I thought would be useful to share this morning. And the first thing is that eye contact is a potent trigger for oxytocin, which can improves the sense of connectivity with others and also trust. And I thought it was interesting. I mean, there were a lot of data points on many things related to our well-being, but the fact that we have to walk around with masks all the time, you know, we're missing like half of the facial expression, but the power of eye contact was really stood out in what I was reading. And I thought that was so hopeful and interesting and powerful. And you know that as humans, we have a deep need to be heard and to be appreciated, and that there are networks in the cortex that light up and are associated with physical safety when we feel heard and appreciated. And I thought that was really interesting. The other thing is when people meditate on what is good in their life and the good things that people do and or give them, it promotes relaxation and regulates breathing. And then that triggers like a whole flow of neurotransmitters like endorphins and dopamine. So it's like when we pay attention to this goodness, it helps us feel safe and loved. So it's not to be like, undermined in terms of just, the value. So there was one other, this probably is not going to be surprising to anybody, but it was a study done by Christina Carnes, who's a researcher. And she had a cohort of people where half of them kept a gratitude where that every day their assignment was to write about things they were grateful for. And then there was the other cohort they just had a free-for-all journal, journal whatever you want. And she used MRI screening and found that those who were doing just the gratitude, that the part of the brain that lights up related to reward, that reward signal, that and a good feeling. It didn't happen in the ones who were keeping just a regular journal. It happened in the ones that were keeping a gratitude. So it sort of underscored for me that, because I'm not that good at that, like I've tried to do that and then I let it go. And I, but as I was really kind of looking at some of the research on this, it was influencing me quite a bit. And one of the things to keep in mind with meditation in general is that whatever we incline the mind towards, we train. So if we keep inclining toward gratitude, then that's going to be more of a natural default for us. So with that, I thought I would take us through a little less than 10-minute guided meditation, but with a focus on gratitude.
That's great.
Anything you want to say, John, before I?
No. Well, the only thing I was thinking of was you mentioned the eye contact thing, which is we discovered the hard way that how keyed in our son is to eye contact. If we actually look at him for too long while we're trying to get him to go to bed, it's too stimulating for him.
Oh,
and this
wow.
is apparently a very typical thing with babies. You actually are supposed to look away from them, not look at them.
Wow, interesting.
Because it is so stimulating to them to see the eyes of somebody else. And what I think is interesting, and maybe this is just me being a dummy, but I mean, we try to like hold up like teddy bears. He just like doesn't care. He doesn't like really recognize like even though like they have these sort of human like faces or whatever. But it's
right.
But it's our eyes that he is just fixes on. So it's something that is ingrained, and we're not going to be able to shake it as humans. It's part of who we are. But, so thank you for sharing that. I think that's a beautiful part of humanity. So
yes. And since half our expression is gone when we're at the grocery store, engaging with family, outside of our home, when we're with others, we're masked. So that eye contact is powerful. All right.
Okay.
So we'll settle in the way we normally do. So if you can either stand or sit, but find a posture that in this moment feels comfortable and easeful to you, with a spine that is straight but not stiff. And just notice how things are this morning, the physical expression in your body from your activity of the day so far. So perhaps you notice the beat of the heart or a kind of pulsing or vibration in the body. Maybe you're aware of temperature, points of contact with the body and the surface that you're on. And as we begin, let's just take one deep breath to help settle any surface tension. So deep inhalation through the nose with a bit longer exhalation through the mouth. So on your own, go ahead and take that deep breath in with a longer exhalation. And as you settle in, just for a moment, notice the rhythm of your breath. And where in the body it's most pronounced. And let's begin this practice by bringing to mind our family and friends and those who have been significant in our lives, who have helped us, supported us. And so it could be one person, it could be more of a collective. And include your pets if you have pets in this collective. Just take a moment to bring to mind those who've supported you with a sense of gratitude for that support. So whatever family means to you, collectively holding that one person, that pet, or that collective, just in your field of awareness, with a sense of gratitude. And allowing the collective in your mind's eye to remain in the background now. And let's bring to mind those things on a day-to-day basis that make our lives easier. So turning on a switch and you get light in a room. Turning on the faucet and having water come out. Public schools and libraries. Transportation, public, whether or your own car, the ability to come and go as we need. So just taking a moment to call to mind those things that we may not consider on a day-to-day basis, but that supports our life. Bringing a sense of gratitude to the ability to have running water and to have light to support us and to have transportation. And let's now expand that to think about who are those folks in our lives that make our lives easier but aren't seen on a very regular basis. So they might make our lives easier or bring joy. So think about poets and musicians, athletes, journalists, auto mechanics and farmers, postal workers. So thinking about those in your life that you see maybe sometimes, but not all the time, and sometimes never, where you can feel a sense of gratitude, listen to a song or read an article, or read a poem. Who are those in your life? Perhaps local farmers or not so local. Taking a moment to kind of go through those people with a sense of gratitude. And allowing that to remain in the background of your awareness. And bringing attention back inward to your own body, to your thoughts and emotions, body sensations in this moment. And bringing a lens of kindness to yourself. And as we bring this meditation to a close, may we as we move through this day today. May we be peaceful and at ease. May our hearts be soft and open. May we be safe and protected, and our bodies healthy and strong. And we extend that out to all of those known and unknown to us on this day and beyond. May they be well, have ease of heart and mind, be safe. Feel protected and to feel connected. So however you are spending this day, whether it is on your own, as I am and many others that I know are, or in much smaller family groups, may we give gratitude for this day before us and those we are celebrating with, and for the food that we have. And I want to close with the meditation with a quote by Michael J. Fox that I came across recently. And he says, with gratitude, optimism becomes sustainable. And I love that. And I've actually read it a few times and let it sink in a bit. And he, as you know, most of you know, he's had very significant health issues with Parkinson's, but even more recently, some pretty severe health concerns. So he says, with gratitude, optimism becomes sustainable. So let me count back from 3 to 1. So 3, 2, 1. And when you feel ready, allow the eyes to open and reconnecting with each other. So we've got a couple minutes.
Tara, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that quote, which is beautiful. And I think it's worth mentioning that it's not the most typical practice in the type of mindfulness practice that we do.
Right.
But there is a version of practice where you take a quote like that one, which seems very meaningful and significant, and sit with it and actually allow it to sort of marinate in the mind. I think when we come across things like that you just get that, it has that ring of like, this is worth thinking about.
Yes, yes.
Bring into your practice, right?
I've read that quote so many times, John, and I feel like it feels very significant. Yeah.
Yeah. So Tara, if you'd allow me, I'd love to circle back to this idea brought up just a bit earlier of, on the one hand, acknowledging the things that we've been separated from this year, while also acknowledging the things which may be being offered in their place, both of which are categories of things I think we can be grateful for, that which we have received, even if it is now distant from us, and that which we are still receiving now. And so I guess I wanted to ask you a question, which is, what Thanksgiving traditions are you missing this year? But is there anything that you're doing this year that you haven't done before that is bringing you some nourishment? And I'd love for folks in the chat box to
weigh in on that too. Yeah.
Like what are you missing this year that you usually do, but what has arisen in its place that you're valuing?
Yeah. So yeah, no, I love that question, John. Yes, and please, I'd love to hear from all of you as well. I am really missing the fact that I am not with my sister and family. That this is the first time ever, you know, that I have not been with family on this holiday. And you know, I think you know, for me, like, I'm like, okay, this is the way it is, right? And if I add a lot of resistance to that, it can just create a lot of suffering that is unnecessary. There's nothing that's going to change the fact that this is going to be a different year. And I feel the need to do my part, given what's going on. And, you know, I mean, the day hasn't unfolded yet, so I'm not sure. I mean, I may be surprised, but it's and someone else said this earlier too, it's a very rainy day and it's only going to get worse in terms of the weather. And so I'm sort of like really looking forward to completely unplugging, and I mean, unplugging from work related stuff, but like seeing what good movies are on, and just just really nurturing and taking good care.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tara, for sharing
Yeah.
that. So here's a few
Yeah.
things that are being said. Somebody says they're missing their children, but looking forward to the family Zoom. I mean, I guess in terms of gratitude,
Yeah.
it's before this pandemic happened. I mean, nobody in the world knew, like, is Zoom going to, I mean, are these web platforms going to support us? I mean,
Right.
is that going to work? And it's, they have their issues, of course, but I think it's something I am amazed at the people who have put these things together, right? Not just like your so-called tech giants, but the people like the engineers in the background who are just writing the code, allowing us to have somebody put those zeros and ones in so that we can look across and see the people that we love.
Yeah, that's true, John. Wow, that's to be grateful for those folks, that those are the ones we don't see.
Somebody says, sorry, I normally don't read the compliments. Somebody says they're grateful for us. We're grateful for you. Thank you. Somebody says they're missing theater events with my children, but loving the ingenuity of local caterers, farmers, and florists, bringing simply beautiful pleasures to my home. Yeah, I gotta say, I feel like my wife and I are getting more local food brought to us. It's places that we might not have gone to otherwise.
Yeah.
Being more supportive. Also, in terms of theater, we now have this opportunity, or theaters across the world, in London and New York, are bringing productions that you might have had to pay hundreds or thousands of dollars to see, to our computer screen.
Yeah.
I think that's also a beautiful opportunity.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. And we will be back together, person to person, but it but it's been quite surprising how well the platforms have worked.
Tara, I'm gonna when I finally see you again, I'm gonna be like, it's gonna be weird to see anything below your shoulders. So I'll be like, I forget how tall you are. So this is someone says they're missing being with their daughter, but that it's safer to be apart in order to protect the baby boy that she has.
Yes.
And this is also, I also guess everyone has to make their own decisions, but I want to commend everyone who is making the decision to be apart from others for their safety. I think that's just a beautiful sacrifice that we can all make.
Yes.
Someone says, let's see. Yes, missing big holiday gatherings, missing these holiday gatherings, but being grateful just for everything that we do have, given all the hardships around the world. I mean, yes, this is good. Keep in perspective that this is hard, but it's one day, it's 1 year. It's like we have it really pretty great here in the United States, and it's not perfect, but we have a lot to be grateful for as a country. So someone says they're looking forward to having a Zoom dinner and a paint party. Yes, that's very nice. Someone says, my husband and I moved back to our home state of Michigan 6 years ago and have been enjoying big family Thanksgiving ever since. This year, they're back to the just us, but looking forward to that, just having the two of them being able to celebrate, and what that will involve, playing games and listening to music and just relaxing. Yes, and someone also gets seconds that the sacrifice of exchange Thanksgiving is small compared to keeping everyone safe, especially with a vaccine hopefully on the way. Another thing to be grateful for. Again, just the people who science. I don't know.
No, I know. I mean, there's so many things, and I just want to emphasize that, like, what we incline our mind toward really matters and starts to train. So being, thinking of, like, even I'm just about ready to make an apple pie after we get off, and I'm going to be listening to Ira Glass's top 7 best This American Life. He he's got like 7 that he thinks are the best that he's ever done. So I'm like, I am so excited to just play that while I'm like slicing and yeah.
That's really, thank you for that tip, Tara. I didn't know that was happening. That's great. And
Yeah.
for those of, I don't know if this might be a generational thing or it might just be a nerd thing, but I used to love watching the Mystery Science Theater 3000 Turkey Day Marathon, which they used to play on Comedy Central. And I think they still do that on YouTube or maybe on Netflix, but that's something that one could always cobble together oneself. I don't know if but it's possible.
And I'm
nobody knows
sure
what I'm talking
Alice's
about,
Restaurant will be playing. And by the way, the Arlo Guthrie reading of like Alice's Restaurant, Alice is still alive and lives in Provincetown.
Wow. Okay. These are.
I know.
Someone says they're a resilient person, grateful they can pass on optimism to those who need it, but that they miss hugging people in general. Yeah. Thank you to you for passing optimism on to others, keeping that circle going. Someone says normally they'd be in Vermont taking care of their 94-year-old mother-in-law, but can't go. But grateful for the celebrations that they are having. I also have a 94-year-old grandmother-in-law, and who we're not seeing because for the same reason, to make sure that they stay safe. So someone says, from a positive perspective, thinking about this unusual year will make us appreciate future Thanksgivings. So this person says, as a former foreigner and now a proud citizen, I'm used to growing up with no Thanksgiving. Having its novelty taken away this year has been surprisingly painful. That's, yeah. Let's see. Oh gosh, I so many things coming in. Someone says they're grateful for these nourishing practices and these perspectives from everyone. Missing gatherings with my large family. Looking forward to dining out for the first time in a long time outside in Florida, and for the first time ever on Thanksgiving. So that's maybe a new tradition.
Wow. Yeah.
And somebody says, I'm gonna end on this one because I think it's. Someone says next year will be epic. I think that is correct. Wow. Okay. So. So we said that we were gonna keep this session loose. I think we have. So, Tara, I feel like I want to sort of move us towards wrapping it up. But can I ask you if you have any sort of thoughts that you want to, leave us with? Maybe ways that we could, additional ways we can cultivate or express gratitude this year as we're going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think I feel like, John, thank you for reading, what has been coming in. And I just feel like I have a tremendous amount of gratitude for this community and this sort of the regularity of meeting with everybody once a week on Thursdays. And so I feel like many of you have offered some good ideas for, just what to keep in mind this day as we go through, and that, really taking a few moments to take in what you're grateful for, like just pausing. And we know through Rick Hanson's work that taking in the good, he calls it, that it actually does impact the brain. And so it doesn't have to be, it could be 15 seconds. I think that's what so maybe periodically throughout the day, take a few 15-second gratitude breaks.
Okay, so let me bring up I call them the credits. If you are looking for fast and easy ways to add links to these sessions to your iCal or Outlook calendar, friends, your search is ended. HarvardPilgrim.org/livingwellatHome is where you can do it. While you're there, please take note of the many other free live and virtual wellness sessions which Harvard Pilgrim offers to the public: yoga classes, Zumba classes, health and wellness webinars, and all of us face moments of pain in our lives, but how we deal with pain can make a huge difference in the quality of our lives. Please check out the free resources around mindfulness and pain management, which we're offering through a partnership with Mindful Magazine. Those resources can be found at mindful.org/pain. Join us on Facebook for faces, books, everything in between. That's facebook.com/mindthemoment. And if you did not get enough You can rewatch this session, older sessions, introductory sessions, and interviews which Tara conducted with leading mindfulness researchers on our YouTube page, youtube.com/mindthemoment. A closing few thoughts, if I may, on Thanksgiving. From Henry David Thoreau, local hero, who wrote, "I am grateful for what I am and have. My Thanksgiving is perpetual. It is surprising how contented one can be with nothing definite, only a sense of existence. My breath is sweet to me. How I laugh when I think of my vague, indefinite riches. No run on my bank can drain it, for my wealth is not possession, but enjoyment." Thank you, Tara, for taking time. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, John.
We'll be back with you on Tuesday. Until then, I hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Good weekend.
Thank you, everybody. And happy Thanksgiving.
And have a momentous day.